Hey lovelies, it's me, Saera Burns and the Invisibles. And today we're going to experiment with my reception at home as I have a little rose glycerin medicine. So today the question or the theme of the teaching that I've been working with right now is the teaching on the lone wolf. And so I've been exploring, where does this archetype come in my own life, the feeling of potentially being a lone wolf, of like navigating life by myself in many areas, and then stripping away the illusion of wherever that's come from as I explore that I'm clearly not a lone wolf in this life. I have an immense amount of gratitude and connections with so many beautiful beings that I feel like I receive so much and I'm supported by and can offer so much too. So as I was doing this session, actually it's beautiful around a meet the day, I went through this process where I was questioning, what is this lone wolf archetype? And I got to the answer, what if the lone wolf is actually the leader of the pack? And what would that teaching be? So if really what I've been experiencing is this feeling of stepping away from my pack, and if I was to be in a place of leadership, what that represents. So not being able to fully step into my role in leadership, step into the responsibility, but also just trusting how to be a leader in integrity in this life, because I've been noticing that I've seen many different examples of leadership, and recently I've been seeing coercive examples of leadership. So leadership that's using methods of manipulation and coercion to build followings and to kind of develop their enterprise, and noticing that there is this resistance or this fear in me, or that I would not want to go down that path. And so to step into the lone wolf leader, what is that? Is to really learn how to trust that the pack is who chooses their leader, right? It is through your own way of coming about the world, and knowing that people that are, oh, hello, Nuno. Hello, everyone popping on, by the way. I'm just talking with the lone wolf leader. So before getting into that, and I'm doing very well, I'm going to just ask the Invisibles if they have any insight into this teaching of the lone wolf leader. So as you all know, the basic guidelines are believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. So it's really up to you to use your own personal discernment with the teachings that come through. And if it's for you, please take it and let it be a gem in your life. Hello, Donald. I hope this reception's good because I'm in my home trying this out. So I'm just going to start by acknowledging this beautiful marriage that we have between the great beyond and the great beneath, and that we are that union of these two energies in human form. So from this place is where these teachings come, from this great union, and setting the intention that all of these teachings that come up for today are really in alignment with the greatest calling of wisdom that's needed right now on the planet, and are here to support you in your path and your dharma and your work in this world. So that being said, let's ring the bell and bring us to presence. Yep. And today I've got a few friends that could join us today. We've got Jen the Gelfling and Mommy. I don't know if you can see them there. Yeah. All right. So the question about the lone wolf leader, what is that teaching? The question is not, are you the leader that is the lone wolf? But have you deserted your pack, or have you been banished from your pack? And these are questions that every person who is exploring leadership needs to address. Because if you have experienced being banished, being exiled from the groups or the communities that you felt like you had an intrinsic role in, it doesn't mean that your leadership qualities aren't exceptional, but that perhaps the direction that you're taking your life is not in synchronicity or synchronized with the rest of the pack's direction. Because as a leader, you're going to be bringing in and attracting the pack that trusts in the direction that you're going with your offerings, with your teachings, that are open and receptive to learning with you in this journey, in this way. But if you are the wolf who has deserted their pack, then that takes more inquiry on your part. Why is it that you felt that you are of greatest service by yourself? In some cases, it's because being by oneself requires a lot less responsibility. However, being by yourself and feeling that you are the prime, how do we word this? To hold responsibility for your life, for your actions, for your will, and the design that that will brings into your life is important. But if you are scared that your will is going to lead people astray from their own will, that's not your responsibility. Okay? You must trust that those who are allowing your guidance to be supportive to them are making this from a true grounded source. And to do that, it's important to continuously check in, have a feedback loop between as you're teaching, as you're offering, and those who are receiving, to make sure that there's still a mutual benefit. And if not, perhaps learning how to develop and angle the teachings you have to truly encompass the needs of the pack, the needs of those coming to you, without being out of integrity with your own calling and your own personal direction. So if you feel that in some ways you have left the pack by fear or by resisting the responsibility to step fully into who you are and what you bring to this world, then I suggest you examine that with a fine-toothed comb. Thank you. Woohoo! Hello, everyone. So beautiful. It's a gorgeous spring day here on the West Coast. Not to rub it in your face. I'm the East Coasters. So let's see. Who do we got today? We've got Nazare. Hello. And so the first question is from Nazare. And so for anyone popping on too, if you're new to this, you're welcome to ask a question for yourself, humanity, or the planet. And I will get to you in the order that the questions appear. If there is a question that is personal, then and you don't want your name attached to it, you're welcome to send me a private message. And if for whatever reason I'm not finding it and I just kind of skimming past you and it's getting to almost 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, then please send like a little hint sign. Maybe we could have a code, would be like, what's a good one? I don't know. We'll figure out some emoji hint that you got a private message. All right, so let's see if I have any private ones. Otherwise, Nazare, my dear, you are next. Okay. So Nazir is saying, do the invisibles have anything for me today? Thank you. All right. Mm. Well, firstly, like I keep saying like lasagna, like this yummy lasagna, like and salad picnic. I don't know why. Maybe you got a picnic. Let me keep going though. There is something that's bothering you, but it's not bothering you on the surface, so in the form of physical ailments or how people are reacting or interacting with you, kind of getting under your skin. It's bothering you because it's something that you know you need to continue to work on, but there's a resistance to that growth. So why we're bringing this up is that if there is something that you have agreed to, you have created a contract with for yourself, whether it's to complete a school program or to make sure you call your mother every week, these decisions that people make to be accountable for can actually create, oh, they're kind of popping out. They're showing me how when we create these decisions to be accountable, it actually, oh, hey, Sophia, hun. So and we've got Celia here. So when we create these decisions to be accountable, so whether it's even the decision to wake up and have a morning practice, or like they were saying, like communicating with somebody once a week, or finishing your schooling, that they're kind of showing me how these decisions in themselves have like an energetic cord of responsibility that's slightly like connected to our being. And so the more of those that we have that go uncompleted, so if we have made these agreements and we're not following through with them, the more that those cords actually continue to almost pull a bit on us. And so that's something that I've been exploring too with when I do sessions with people is I have the lend it part. So for anyone that's had a session with me, when I say believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it, it's the idea that if you have a teaching or an idea or a responsibility that is beckoning you to bring it into your life, but you know that you do not have the foundation to fully, or even that you're not in a place of having the structure in your life to fully follow through with that, then instead of holding that in your body, right, and holding that as an energetic cord pulling you to remind you, like a memory poke to you, you can actually you can almost create them as these like vibrational seeds. So if there's a teaching or responsibility you have, but you're not able to do it, you can create it into vibration and then offer it into the earth, into Pachamama, with the commitment that you'll return to it when you're ready. And why I bring this up is that it's so important, especially with spring, like as we're going through this time of spring cleaning and spring renewal, is to explore what are these contracts or these obligations or responsibilities that you've agreed to that are actually cluttering up your energetic field, because you can feel them pulling at you and you're not able to actually follow through. And so going into you have a million responsibilities at the moment. So going through those and exploring which of those responsibilities could maybe wait a bit. Like which of those responsibilities perhaps could have a timeline set on them and could be like allocated. So creating ways of structuring your day and your life so that they want to keep talking. So for anyone that can relate to this feeling of responsibilities to other people, responsibilities to yourself, responsibilities to the world, responsibilities to your creativity, responsibilities to your children, all of these lines of energy that in some ways can pull us, though they're created to motivate us. Okay. That this A to B is here to inspire us to let momentum in our life take us forward, to keep energy flowing through our actions, through being in right action with your desires and your goals and your core truths. Okay. So an affirmation that we have for that is, I allow myself to trust in the agreements I make to be supportive of the needs I have to be available for the world. So if you have agreements and responsibilities that are actually getting in the way of your dharma, getting in the way of your actual purpose and calling in this life. And we're not saying let this be an excuse to not do your dishes, okay? But if you have these responsibilities, and when you scan them, you realize that they are coming from a place of obligation. So feeling an obligation to an individual. That in the end is actually not your responsibility. You're not responsible for them feeling loved by you, okay? And start shifting that. Thank you. All right. Hey, Donnie. So that was interesting. All right. So we've got some new faces here. Hello, everyone that's popping on. You've made it to Saera Burns and the Invisibles. Questions for yourself, humanity, or the planet. And of course, as maybe you've already experienced, if you're watching this, then most likely there's teachings that are coming and are relating and resonating with your own life, because I believe that we are part of this beautiful microcosm of the divine. So the next question that we have, and good luck, Nazare, on those million, of course. You're so welcome. So this is from Sophia. Hello, my dear. So Sophia is saying, wondering about guiding people into a space of allowance, joy, and bliss, so they be a clear vessel for song, hoping for my own guidance on this song writing workshop. Thanks. Love that you're already saying, I can totally relate. All right. So this is for Sophia and the art of allowing. This is actually this teaching that I've been working on, and it's a whole other realm of teachings, but the art of allowing. How do we allow? How do we allow our creativity to flow? How do we allow divine inspiration to be birthed into this life and through us? And I know for me, learning what is in the way of that stream of consciousness, because I believe that stream of consciousness is constantly flowing, and it's just a matter of aligning ourselves and pulling beliefs out of the way, pulling resistance, working on the body. So I do a lot personally of actual alignment of my body. So for me, a lot of energy gets like locked in my neck, and so throughout the day, there's actually I'm opening the channels of my throat. And so this would also be good I do a lot of allowing through voice. And so exploring too in this, my first feeling, and we'll get into the visibles, but is starting in a somatic way. So really starting to open, having the people you're working with working on opening and kind of stretching out their throat and their throat center. And so even sometimes massaging the glands, and just really honoring that beautiful chakra there, and welcoming it to feel safe and open and transparent is what wants to flow through it. I know for me, because I'm still healing and transmuting a lot of past life banishment and brutal deaths through my voice. I'm learning that even having teas and having something that calms my throat on a very in a very physical way. So right now I've got licorice, and I'm going to be putting together like a throat calming tea. Actually helps my body feel safe, because even though allowing is also energetic and mental, it's also, like I was saying, a somatic. So knowing that the body also holds tension and resistance and trauma and things there too. So even if you could have like a really sweet tea available or something that you make with the intentions of supporting the body to feel safe, to really open up to these energies that flow through us. Because I know with channeling, and which I believe songs are, is an art, a form of channeling the divine. They can pull up a lot of energy. It can be a lot of energy to have those teachings want to flow through you. So now let's see what the invisibles have to say. Hmm. Firstly, it's important to remember that you are also going to be stepping into the current of allowing the teaching to move through you. And that by putting yourself in front of your students, yes, your students, get comfortable feeling that, being able to know that you are able to teach and support students. That's the first thing, is stepping into the archetype of the teacher. What that requires in you to be able to hold that responsibility to wisdom coming through in as clear of a way you can. And being gentle with yourself in the process. That's the first step, is you trusting the teaching of allowing in your own self. Also, setting the intention with the group is very important. So creating the container for not just the teachings to come through, for a feeling of safety. Like Sarah mentioned, safety in the body. Okay, so the body can relax into allowing. Safety in the group. So making sure that perhaps there's small icebreaker games or ways that the group can start feeling a little more comfortable with themselves. And so different activities that can work with allowing are exploring, even creating a group popcorn song. So that could be something where, oh, they're kind of popping out. They want me to share this. So they're kind of showing this game. I've played this more with storytelling, where you have people sit in the group, and I mean, in some ways it's kind of like ciphering, but ciphering one song without having to fully commit to like a whole paragraph. And so, I mean, this is just an idea, but they're kind of showing me this idea of the group kind of playing with the song. So you might have somebody be like, and there was music in the melody in the bones. I was holding my head underneath the stones. And that could kind of play with how energy moves too. So allowing the current to move through the whole group could be a fun activity. It might be more advanced depending on the group of people you have, but to just play with bringing a sense of like play into it, but also opening up the gates too. So something they're also showing me is that they're kind of showing this image of like, if you're able to be an example of allowing just like a free flow song to flood through, even if it's just like a little paragraph, that even just doing that and having people witness that actually helps their body take in the information on how to cipher and how to let that flow. So that's a little bit. I would love to just come to your class. I think it's on, I don't know if you want to rep it, because I saw what's on the 26th, Salt Spring Island, maybe. If anyone watching is on Salt Spring, Sophia's, and I think Sophia's doing one in Victoria, is an amazing, amazing musician. So I encourage you to check that out. And if you want Sophia to put the link to any of the classes, you're welcome to do that. All right. Thank you. Oh, yeah, and it's the 23rd. Okay, so it's the 23rd on Salt Spring Island, and you can either contact Sophia, or if you can't access her because you're not friends, you can send me a message. If it's public, I hope it is. And on Salty, and then 22nd in Victoria. All right, awesome. So not to be missed. So moving on. So we've got Donnie. How is everyone, by the way? How are you all feeling? We are coming in. We're about to be spring equinox is coming up, and the new moon in Pisces is on the weekend. Oh, and Sophia says everyone's welcome. Yay! All right, so here we go. We've got you, Donnie. You're still here. So Donnie is saying, good afternoon. Good seeing you today. Is there any messages for me today? Thank you. All right. And that's also for anyone watching. If you have a question that you don't know quite how to word it, you're also welcome to just put it like how Donnie's put it. So if there's any messages for you today. Also, if it's a private message, please send me in my private box and I will get to that. And so far, we've got Donnie's question right here, which I could already hide it now. And then we've got Celia next. And I think that is who we have queued. Let me just double check that we don't have anyone in line. All right, so it looks like we don't have any private questions. So if you are watching and you want to get your question answered, I will have time for you. I think I might have time for one or two more questions. So send them on over. So this is for you, Donnie. Here we go. Don't get up with the sun. Allow the sun to get you up. Why we say this is that in some situations, people allow light, allow the brilliance of day to be what enlivens themselves to take action. But for you, when we say, don't get up with the sun, let the sun get you up, is to know that there is a life force that is in, oh, they're kind of popping out. They're showing me that it's like they're showing me this difference. So if you're to get up with the sun, they're showing this energy of allowing just like the light around you and the day and the birds and all that beauty to just summon your senses awake. So that'd be like getting up with the sun. But they're showing the difference that would be helpful for you, Donnie, is when they say to let the sun get you up, is they're showing that it could be beneficial for you to start working with solar energy. So I don't know if it involves sun gazing, though please read directions on that from a source that is reputable. I know for me, when I do sun gazing, there's a very specific time to actually allow that sun to come in your eyes so it doesn't burn your retinas. But it's a really powerful practice. And so that's like right before the sun crests, you have to find a place you can see the sun before it pops over that thin line where it's still orange. But they're showing that there's something about working with the sun's energy right now, which makes sense. We're like coming into the spring equinox, like the sun there's just more and more light, but they're saying that actually, not just like symbolically, but actually in a practice, connecting yourself and your current of energy with the solar energy, and that there's something in working with the sun's energy that's going to actually fill your body in a different way. And so if you want to explore practices like solar practices, I'm not that versed in them, but it feels they're kind of showing me that there's even like, I don't know if you're, I mean, if you're comfortable with Egyptian, ancient Egyptian culture, but to explore maybe even any techniques or work that they had maybe around Ra, the sun god, or I just see kind of like solar, like letting this sun kind of get you up, letting the sun embody and empower you to have more life force and a sense of kind of like the sense of radiant strength that's going to be able to shine into your life. So when I say let the sun get you up, I'm really, what they're really showing me is I'm really seeing like almost your body just like flooded with solar light. And instead of being in the light, it's almost coming from within you. So, I mean, use your own discernment, because I don't know if this is high level light work technique that maybe you need to prepare yourself for. So I want you to just listen to what feels right to you. But sun time, maybe just go lay in the sun. Do some sun work. All right, thank you. And so we've got Celia. Hello, Celia. This is the first time I'm seeing you on here. Celia, are you still here? And Ona, hello, my dear. You're not too late. Ona and Celia. Celia, are you still here, my dear? We got Kelsey. Ooh. Ooh, thanks, Kelsey, for the heads up. So you know what? It seems like Kelsey might actually, I'm gonna see if I can find Kelsey's message first before you, Celia. Well, I'm also seeing if you're still here, Celia. Let's see if I can find your message, Kelsey, my dear, or if you want to send me it again. Let me see. For some reason, I'm not seeing it. Oh, is that Celia saying she's still here? Oh, you're here. Wonderful. Okay, let's see. So I think, and that goes to say, so if anyone's watching and you've sent me a question and I'm just totally skimming over it, it is not because I am intentionally doing that. I just have not seen it. So Kelsey, I think you must have, okay, and Celia's here. All right, so Celia, let's start with you just because I've already got you queued, and then we will have, oh, and then Kelsey's next. Okay, so, and Kelsey just had a baby, little Maru, so there's a little newborn here. All right, so Celia, my dear. So Celia is saying, would love to know what the Invisibles would have to tell me today, please. Will do. Oh, you're welcome, Nani. So this is for you, Celia. It's interesting. I keep seeing there's something about like I'm seeing like a clock and I'm seeing like nighttime, or do you work in the night, or there's something about your like your nighttime, what you do in the nighttime, that they're trying to point at. So I'm curious what your, the sun's going down. What's your kind of routine? And if you don't feel comfortable sharing it fully here, you don't have to, but I think having a little more understanding what they're trying to show me at, because yeah, I'll see if they want to say more while you're responding to that. While we're showing this, so it's important to get more information, is there's something that needs to be shifted, okay, in how you interact with the darkness, interact with the night, interact with this part of your daily cycle. Because there's patterns or responsibilities that are coming into this bit. Oh, they're kind of popping out. So let's see if you've responded. You work mornings. Do you work mornings like early mornings? Or just like regular schedule? Because when I say early, I mean like sunrise. Because they're kind of showing that it's like, I'm seeing this energy of, like, why they're showing me like this clock in the nighttime is like this feeling of possibly, but sleep late night. Okay. Yeah, they're kind of showing me like, is there a way? This is me just like playing with what regular. Okay, regular hours. Good. Like they're showing me that there's something that's like getting in the way of you connecting with, I don't know if it's like with relaxing, or it's a little tricky trying to understand this. I guess to go about it a different way, a different approach is perhaps there's a way to start putting in more, like shifting how you explore the nighttime. So, sometimes people, it's nighttime and maybe you're going to watch a movie every night, or like Netflix, or or you're going to, have different friends over. Like there's different routines, but they're showing like with this clock. So the image of the clock representing almost like being on a schedule. And it's like they want you to explore shifting some things up so you don't sleep very well. Yeah, it's like the clock that they're showing me, like energetically represents that there's still this feeling of like being on the clock. So, even symbolically, like just being plugged into work or being like energetically. And so if there's a way to, because like the feeling I get as I keep seeing this clock at nighttime is it's hard to fully rest, like fully rest into like your dreams, rest into just relaxation, and like bringing whatever this energy of responsibility or being on the clock or into your sacred time of replenishment and renewal. And perhaps that's what's also getting in the way of you being able to deeply sleep, is having this almost this momentum that's getting so for that is maybe you could explore what are some ways of almost, there's this practice that I've had before when I realized that I have so much going on in my mind. I'm like, okay, I've got my business and I got my daughter and my family and the future and all these things, and I'm holding them and juggling them, and learning when it's time to just put all those away, right? Realizing that I can't actually do anything with that. There's certain times in the day where I'm like, you know what? I can't work on any of these. There's not the time to focus on this. And in that way, if it's not the time, if you don't actually have the space to be holding these energetically in your mind or in the back of your mind, then learning how to disengage from them in a very healthy way. So sometimes you can do it in the way of, like I've done it where I actually visualize that there's like a big bag or something and I put all my responsibilities in it, and then I exactly your feelings. Yeah. And then I kind of put that bag outside my house, like on the front step or something. And so playing with how can you even visualize or whatever that is, maybe it's just writing down everything, all your responsibilities you have on a list. And just even that in itself can help it take you out of your mind. Okay. So there's a lot of like releasing whatever is making you not able to fully relax because of all these connections to it, and then finding that beautiful relaxation in the night. So taking that clock out of the nighttime so that all you can see is the stars and the beautiful time of replenishment. So that's for you, my dear, and feel free to give me more questions. All right. So hello, everyone, by the way, whoever is here. It's so lovely to see we've got a bunch of people on. Oh, hello, Salt. So sun gazing sounds great right now. I've had the cold. This is from Donnie. All right, so we're gonna get to Kelsey. I hope you're still here, Kelsey, and your little Maru. So here's Kelsey's. And Kelsey just had a baby. Oh wait, yes. Okay. You're so welcome, Celia. So Maru and I are here. So Kelsey says, I'm open to guidance suggestions on working with possessions and assets. Looking to listen to Harness's Moon that's telling us to let ourselves flow with material goods. So maybe any insights on what is blocking, stuck, could wiggle and manage. So just for clarity, Kelsey, when you're thinking about assets and material possessions, is this that you would like to release them and have less in your life, or you would like to bring more into your life? If you're able to answer that. Because those are two very different directions that we could go. I know, having a child, it's amazing the accumulation that comes with children. Something I do is I have a bag always in my house. And so if at any point, through the month or the week, I'm just going about my house, my chores are going, and I see something that I just feel is like, I'm over it. It's not helping me anymore. I feel like it's time to move on. I just don't have any emotional attachment to it. It's just, then I actually put that in the bag so that I'm constantly, either would like to have what is needed. Okay, so you want to have what's needed. That's important, right? Learning that it's also okay to know that that life will be better with certain physical objects and tools is a big one. I was a minimalist for many years. I actually lived out of a knapsack, a kid's like school knapsack. That was all my possessions. It was amazing, but I had to make do with a lot of cold nights and hungry belly. All right, so this is for you, Kelsey, my dear. Hello, everyone, by the way. Whoever's just popping on, this is Saera Burns and the Invisibles. And it looks like we have enough for Kelsey and Ona, and then there is a basket at the door. Yeah. And then when people and friends come, you have this big free box that you can, or if you have, events, you can just bring it out. It's been really helpful for me instead of sometimes it can be overwhelming when all of a sudden you're like, I need a purge, and you go through everything, and it can be a bit much. All right, so just for the, okay. So I want to say what Salt said, by the way. I'm just reading this. So Salt had said, I like to imagine I'm working to juggle less in my mind and more seeing a blueprint of all these things laid out in front of me. Nice. So that was in response to Celia about all the juggling. All right. So back to you, Kelsey, my dear. So let's see what they've got to say. And I'm just going to ring this bell just to bring us into presence. I feel like there's gates to these Ask the Invisibles, which happen every Wednesday, by the way. So if you want to pop on next Wednesday or spread the word, please do. And we're also doing by donation 30-minute consultations earlier in the day on Wednesday. So it's our big day of offerings. Here we go. So there's something that we see as blocking you and your trust on being met with your dreams and desires with the world. Okay, so it's not a responsibility that's getting in the way. Okay, it's more that there is an action. So I'm just going to translate. Kind of what they're showing me is they're saying that there's an action that it's like somebody did. There's something about somebody that did this action that made you. I'm kind of feeling maybe more when you were like a teenager, 16-ish, possibly. But they're saying like there's something that somebody did, so an action that happened that it's like the belief around. They're showing that there's something that your being, your soul took as. Let me see how to word this. Let's just see what they have to say. It's a little complicated. Why we're trying to bring attention to what this person did is not to seek revenge or bring something into right order in this life, in this present moment. It's to realize that when we are young, when people are developing themselves through their teenagehood, how they witness other people showing up for the world that they respect is very influential to how they are able to see themselves also taking that initiative. And so why we're saying that there's an action someone did that has rippled into this belief or into this block of being able to fully have your physical needs met, not in all ways, but specifically the ones that are here to render the change and the ease in your life. They're like, it's interesting. I'm like seeing this old woman. I'm seeing like it feels maybe like a grandmother or a great grandmother, and it's like I'm seeing her kind of a profile of her, and it's like she's on her knees trying to like being of service in some way. And I don't know if it's like shoes or something like with her, like being of service, but not necessarily. It's like she's not necessarily getting her needs met in the ways that she's being of service. Like there's like this imbalance, and I kind of see, for some reason I'm seeing, like I said, this is a very complex, I don't know, you never know which questions are going to be complex. I guess it's the block you're talking about. It's like this, it feels ancestral, but it also feels like something that maybe you saw in your life. I don't know if you saw your mother maybe go through something, like if it's been passing on through generation, but the image of this woman I have is she's kind of bent down and is in a place of being of service, but is still, it's maybe suppression, I don't know. Like it's just, it represents this time where no matter how much you gave and made yourself available, still your needs weren't necessarily going to be met. And for some reason, I can kind of see that there's a bit of that in this block, like in this ancestral block of needing to clear what's in the way of you feeling that it's like there's something like it's your birthright to receive to have your needs met, and it's your child's birthright. Oh, hello, Eve. And in that, though, I want you to. So this is an exercise, okay? So anyone else, if you're interested, this is an exercise of helping empower the will. So I'm gonna stand up. Let's see what we can see here. It might be really bright in your eyes, sorry. My head's gonna be cut out here. So if anyone wants to do this whilst, we can do it all together, or you can just watch it. So kind of like standing up and then getting into, so it's your lower pelvis, so kind of like around, so if these are the hips, it's kind of finding these points right in here. And so especially after childbirth, this area, has done miraculous things. And so you can first start kind of massaging this area and kind of moving. So some people, can get actual blocks. So if you feel, it's pretty common, almost like little bumps of buildup in those glands. And so kind of massaging this, all right. And then once you get the massage going, kind of just like kind of shaking your solar belly. And so as you're bringing it, you can also kind of pull out. And so what we're doing here is we're just kind of opening up. So if the sacral is your creativity, okay, your creativity and your capacity to make things happen for yourself, then really getting into this area and moving actual physical blocks in that part of your body. And then the next thing you can do too is, so here's your back. So finding the opposite part. If you're a woman, you could think of it as almost on the other side of your womb space. And then also moving around. And that one, if you have blocks in that area, so if you have blocks in this area, it's actually going to almost be a little painful. And I know you just had a baby, so it's it's like the tailbone area. And so going around clockwise. Okay. And then the last part, so these are just exercises that are going to help you move any chi that you've got in this area. And so the next one, so once you've worked on here, so you start here, giving a little belly shake. And so the belly shake, you can also move out to your hips if you want, and then going to the back, even tapping. That was good. So you're awakening, you're bringing your focus and your attentiveness to this part of your body. And then when you're ready, if you want to get a little squat, then just hold yourself there for a moment and really put like a good amount of pressure, like you're like trying to push a boulder out of the way. So you're really pushing in it. And as you're pushing in it, allow yourself to feel that resistance. So noticing, like right now, my wrists are starting to kind of burn just from this pressure. So hold it as long as you can, and I'm going to sit down now. So holding that pressure in that space. So really holding it as long as you can, and letting that feeling, that tension and that burning that can happen when you really hold a position for a long time, kind of move up your arm. And when you're done this, when you get to that point where you feel like it's just not, you can't hold it any longer, then at that point, what you can do, so you've got to that point, like you've been holding this, like your arms are hurting, for me, like even now, I already start feeling it coming up to my elbows, that tension. So then you can focus on if there's any blocks. So stating, if there, you can say it out loud or just setting the intention that if there's any energetic blocks in my creativity, in my will, in my capacity to make things happen in this life, that I'm going to be releasing them. I'm going to be letting those blocks, those energetic residue. And so one way of releasing it, so after you've got to that point, is then taking your hands and kind of cupping. So cupping whatever that energy is, almost here, right into the center. All right. And then you can actually take your right hand. So this is like kind of like a psychic surge. If I was there, I'd just do this, but but learning to do it yourself is good. So once you get to this point, you can take your right hand, this is my right hand, and then almost like feel that you're cupping that energy. So you're pulling to the surface any kind of stagnant energy, right? That's in that central spot. And then you take your right hand and then almost like going in. So kind of pressing in with your left hand holding there. And so right now I'm a bit below my belly button. So my belly button's right here. So I'm about like 2 inches below my belly button. And so just almost like going in there and pulling out. So this is where you'd be like, this is for psychic surgery. So you kind of find when you feel almost like a bit of an energetic ball, and then you can pull it out almost like a thread. And so I'll show you on the side. So as I'm pulling it out, you kind of like keep going. And then once you've got it to a certain point, then you can actually like drop it into your hand. And if you want to cup it there, and then what you can do from there is you can either offer it to the earth to transmute it and digest it. You can offer it if you're Donnie and you're working with the sun, you could offer it to the sun. And so for doing that, if you also have a bowl of salt water or something like that, you could do that too. Or if you've got a fire, there's different ways you can kind of release that. In Reiki, I've also learned about you can create visualize like a golden or a green flame. I'm using pranic healing, so a green flame of energy. So you can invoke a green flame on the ground. Okay, and so I'm going to do the green flame. So I visualize this green flame on the ground, and then taking this ball of energy, this stagnancy that you just pulled out of your sacral, then sending it into that green flame. Okay, and kind of cleansing any energetic residue, getting a little clearing. And then when you're done, you de-invoke that green flame, so allowing that to return back to where the green flame is from, or purple flame, or whatever color feels good to you. And that is an exercise. So I hope that's helpful for anyone that wants to explore moving blockages in the sacral. And so for you, Kelsey, just knowing that if you focus on your sacral right now, that's going to be very helpful in letting the energy flow into your life. All right. Yay. I hope that made sense. Sometimes these exercises might be a little too far out, but they work. All right, so let's see how we're doing. I am going to need to get my daughter in like 15. I've got Ona next, if she's still here. Ona, my dear, are you still here? Ona, are you still here? All right, if I don't hear from Ona, I'm going to go on to you, Eve, and then that's going to be the last question. Oh, there she is. Ta-da! All right, so I might be able to get to you, Eve, if you're still here. It just depends. I just have to be able to get my daughter. So we'll see how long this answer lasts. So, hello, everyone, by the way. It's so lovely knowing that other people are hanging out with me. Oh, you're still here, Sophia, too. Wonderful. And that exercise too is something. Oh, there's a big time lag. Ooh. Okay. That exercise is something that you can also help other people with too. So I hope that's helpful. And sorry about the time lag. I'm using my internet at my home today. All right. So we got Ona. She says, "Hi, dear. Would love to know what guidance is needed to move forward with my partner." The first thing that I heard, like right away after reading that, was maybe you're already in this place, but keeping really clear boundaries with your finances. You may already be doing that, but if you are doing that, continue that, at least for the next few weeks. Otherwise, let's see what they got to say. That's kind of interesting. So as I was like dropping in, I was hearing this like weird voice that was not really my guide's voice, going like, kill him, something like really weird. So I'm wondering if there is some sort of, I don't know, like not an entity or misqualified energy that's in your sphere right now or connected to your partner, because I would say more to you. Have you had any experiences feeling like there is an energy that's feeling a little out of control in your mental sphere? Or if you've been feeling, I mean, if not, that's fine. I want to speak to that. I almost didn't even say it. And I was like, wait, there's something to that. Because in that, like the feeling that made me have was that there's like an influence that's kind of getting in the way of your being able to even like create really clear, grounded, responsible decisions right now. I mean, take it or leave it, but if that's the case, let's see what the guides have to say. Why we wanted you to feel or acknowledge this is because there's something that is closing in on your sense of adaptability in this relationship. And it's not your instincts that are trying to renegotiate their own responsibility in your life, but that there is a dilemma that's arising because oh, there's a dilemma that's arising because of an exterior influence that is desiring you. That's so interesting. It feels like I was like, what is this energy? This weird voice. And it kind of feels like it's coming from someone, like it's, I don't know if would you have somebody in your life who would prefer you not being in this relationship that's maybe a guy, or maybe from your past? Because it's like, it feels like there is this weird influence that needs to be addressed energetically so that I just saw this white cat. Um, I also feel like the nature of this is kind of delicate, so I don't want to overstep with any guidance that will affect your free will. Mm. So my last guidance for you, Ona, just because of kind of what I'm sensing, is maybe to explore a little more psychic protection, and not even like because of your partner. It doesn't even have to be about your partnership. Oh, I don't know. He said that he feels like there's some witch woman that doesn't want us to be together, but I feel like the issues we're dealing with are a lot more personal than external people's energies. Yeah, that's fair, but there is this like energy that feels like it's coming from the outside. So even if like the feeling I have is, even if it's just creating like a little more protection for like whatever that is, so that you guys can have more clarity dealing with what's coming up, because it's not that, it's like I'm hearing bone marrow. So there's something like whatever the root of this, the suffering or these challenges are coming from within the foundation. So the bones and the skeletons being the structure of our life, like what holds us so that we can actually animate the will of the divine, the will of our own purpose in this life. So there's something like in the center of the marrow. So exploring that's something that would be explored through, they're showing like, they're kind of like showing like different games. Like, I don't know if, I mean, this might be far out, but I'm kind of seeing like if there's ways of doing different like interpersonal relations or like relationship kind of games or processes that could kind of help you guys explore that more, and either in a group setting or maybe just with a few other people. But before that comes, just doing what you can to just create any extra protection around, not to make you freak out, but whatever this energy is that's, yeah, I feel like I don't even want to keep talking about this energy. We just let it go over there. But exploring games. So exploring if there's any games that you may know of. I know for me, just from my personal experience, I'm a married woman, and what I love doing is when me and my partner, this is if you're movers and dancers, this is a great one. Both of me and my husband are dancers, and if there's things that need to get worked out, that words are just going round and round in, or we keep triggering each other, then we create this sacred dance space where we get to actually like move together with whatever that energy between us feels like, and allowing the movements and somatic experience to kind of help exaggerate the kinks and the discomfort and the anger and the rage and the confusion, but in body movements, and how that actually speaks to a different part of the soul and can kind of see and relate. And then through that, moving and allowing the energy between you to have its weird, I mean, let it be as awkward. Like if you feel like this, like, just do it. Like let yourself, like if you feel constricted, like, feel constricted. If you feel like too vulnerable, then make those movements. But then in that, what I found, at least with working with my husband, is like, after a while of going through all the clunks and like the like, we usually get to a place where all of a sudden our movements start smoothing out again, and then we actually start blending, and a fluidity comes between us. And so in that fluidity, I find that just having that somatic expression and example of how your energies can bring back into harmony and balance actually clears, like, it clears so much that 20 conversations might not have actually touched on, because it needed to get out of the mind and out of the stories and into the body. So that's my personal suggestion. And I hope that's helpful if you guys like moving together. I hope so, because it's really fun. So let's see. Thank you. So the last, I think, let's see, it might be tight. My daughter, I think we've got time for you, Eve. This is going to be the last one. So anyone popping on, just know that this is the last question. So this is for Eve. And then I got to zoom out and get my daughter from the bus. Are you still here, Eve, by the way? Before I get to your question. Eve Arbel. Is there an Eve Arbel here? I want to thank all of you for joining me this beautiful springtime day. Oh, good, you're here. Hey, hun. It's your turn. Might have to make it quick, but I wanna see what we've got for you. You're welcome, Mona. If anyone wants to share where they're calling from, I love hearing where people are at. Okay, I'm in British Columbia, Salt Spring Island, Canada. So this is for Eve, and Eve is saying, hi, if you have any time, I'm curious if they have anything to say about my finances. Thank you. Finances. I should be more enthusiastic about that, shouldn't I? Finances! We got money, we got all the money that we need to make our dreams happen. Okay, here we go. So what's been wrong or challenging the way things have been is that you haven't been loving how you've been going about bringing in the resources that are needed. And so in some way, on an energetic level, that lack of enthusiasm, and we're not saying all of your endeavors, okay? But there is this level where the soul actually shuts down, okay? And why the soul can shut down an aspect of itself is that, oh, it's kind of popping out. They want me to describe it. They're like, and of course, believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it, if this speaks to you. But they're kind of showing me like this, almost like the feeling I have is like if a child that's been really excited about something, but keeps asking or, keeps going out and being like, can I do this now? Like, can I? And, over time, like, it's like over time, if that's not being met, like that inner child, and maybe this could be playing with your own inner child, if that inner child isn't having like the parents or its life being like, yeah, go for it, experiment, try that out, like that it just over time that inspiration or that impulse kind of like starts fading, like that excitement and that motivation and that just that pure drive of like, well, why do you want to make finances? How can that desire for money in your life be coming from like a really excited place, coming from a place so that you're magnetizing, you're manifesting and calling in and attracting from, not because you need money to pay all your bills, okay? So if you're going about that way, then yeah, the inner child is not going to be very happy. Like, what does that mean to them, right? But if that freedom, learning like what is beyond, what is the feeling or your availability that you have for yourself and your family, your friends, the world, when you have your basic needs met and when you're able to invest in your evolution and your growth. And so this is something that I'm working on right now as I'm putting a Patreon together, is realizing that finding the excitement beyond the money. So I heard a quote today, which is from Walt Disney, which is, I don't make movies I don't make movies to make money. I make money to make movies, right? So realizing what are you, like finding the joy in what is beyond the money. So why do you need those finances to straighten themselves out? It's like, what is the excitement about that being in balance for you? Because what they're showing is that, like, on a soul level, and if this isn't speaking to you, then you're always welcome to just kind of veer me in another direction because I'm just on my roll. But on the soul level, what can happen is that actually kind of depletes the spirit. Like the spirit isn't, it's not in the same place of magnetizing and calling in these very right align, being in right relation with opportunities that bring finances. And so without that, then it can continue almost calling in situations that maybe are depleting, so that where money's coming from might be feeling depleting getting it, or where the people that are offering it are depleted, like this. It's kind of energy of this slow. And so how to shift into, the people you work with or where money's coming from, the energy that is inherent in that, and that money is coming from excitement and joy and inspiration. So that's something you can explore. If you want to send me ideas of what are some things that you're really excited about that money's going to just be a catalyst for in your life, then do that. And for everyone else watching too, maybe do that for yourself too. What are the things that the end goal that money brings, not that money is not the goal. So I got to go get my daughter. And I want to thank you all so very much for spending the time with me today, wherever you are in the world. It's always such a treat. And pop on next Wednesday, unless you want to do a private 30-minute biodonation consultation, which I'm doing earlier in the day. I'm pretty booked. I think I have one spot next Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, if you want to do that in person or online. So thanks again, and I gotta go get that girl. Aloha. Have a great sunny day.